Okay, today we're going to do the intro to learning about factoring trinomials in the form x squared plus bx plus c, which is really just product sum, or what I like to call salt and pepper, and that lesson's coming next. But this is the sort of prerequisite skills that you need in order to be successful. So I've got a little cloud assignment, and I'm going to work through a few examples, and then I'm going to post it on the Google Classroom, and you can work through it. You can shoot me a text or talk to me on Google Classroom if you need a little help. So the first example I did was product is 28, but the sum of the two numbers is 11. And I've already got the answer there, 4 and 7. So I'm going to show you over here how I came up with that. You've got to remember that product means we're multiplying, and sum means that we are adding numbers together. Okay, so the first strategy, and not everyone will have to do this. Some people are just really that good at their times tables that they'll just see those numbers immediately. But I'm going to show you the coping strategy if you're not really great at that, the way you can still come up with the right answer. So I know that I can get 28 by going 1 times 28, and I also know I can go 2 times 14, and I also know that I can go 4 times 7. So now I go back and I look at the second thing that's important, which is they have to add up to 11. Well, 1 and 28 don't add up to 11, so I can eliminate those. 2 and 14 add up to 16, I can eliminate those. 4 and 7, however, those add up to 11. So there's my two factors, and you can see I just wrote them down there, okay? That's just a simple introduction. So now we're going to move down. We're going to do a little bit harder one. We're going to do the product is 56 and the sum is negative 15. And you can see what's happened here is I've introduced a negative. So you have to go back to your grade 9 skills and you have to think, how do I get a positive product when I'm multiplying two factors together? Well, you can go a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative. And in this case, we know it has to be a negative times a negative because we can't add up two numbers and get a negative. That's impossibility. So we're going to go back to the first situation here was where I'm going to write down all the factors of 56 that I can think of. 1 and 56, 2 and 28, 4 and 14, and then lastly 7 and 8. So those are the numbers that I know I can multiply together and still come up with a product of 56. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to think to myself, how do I get to negative 15? Okay, well, I can't add up 1 and 56, negative 1 and 56, and get negative 15. 2 and 28, that won't work either. 4 and 14, that won't work. But if I had a negative 7 and a negative 8, I could surely make that add up to negative 15. So bingo, that's my answer. So I come back to my little cloud sheet assignment, negative 7 and negative 8 are my answer. Okay. Now we're going to try a little bit harder. We're going to flip to the back and you can see, woo, now I have product that's negative and a sum that's also negative.
Miss Sass, please call extension 226. Miss Sass, call extension 226.
Okay, so then I have to remind myself from grade 8 and grade 9, the only way I can get a positive or a negative product, is a positive times a negative. Okay, that's the only way I can do it. So I'm just going to skip over here, and as you practice this, and this is why I've given you so many questions, okay, I know from experience, because I am an old lady, that the more you practice this, the better off you're going to be as we work through the factoring side of things. So my factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5, and that's it. That's all I can do there. Okay, so now I know one of these factors has to be a negative because that's the only way I can get a negative product, but I have to make them add up to negative 3. Okay, so how can I make 1 and 10 add up to negative 3? Well, it doesn't matter, I can't. If I made this a negative, I'm going to get positive 9. If I made this a negative, I'm going to get negative 9, so that's not going to work. So now I know I've got to concentrate here on 2 and 5. Okay, if I make the 2 a negative, okay, I'm going to get negative 10 when I multiply them, but I'm going to get positive 3 when I add them. So I need to make the 5 a negative. That's going to be my two factors. Okay, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So the signs are important. Okay, your integer laws are important. So now I'm going to come back over here to my assignment. Okay, and I can't remember where I got this one. Oh, right up here. Okay, so there's my answer. 2 and negative 5. So I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to ask you to try some of these. Again, you can shoot me a text, right? Take a picture of the question. But I'm going to tell you right now that if you're not getting this, I better see these factoring situations over here, okay? Because that's going to be super helpful, and it's going to be the first thing that I asked if you did. All right, hang in there, guys.